Party people of the world! Do you know what time it is? It's music time. We are so pumped up to the jam to have you with us. I am Morgan Mitchell, and with me as always is Tanner Grover.
What's up, Morgan, and what's up, universe? You are indeed tuning into a podcast where two friends who love music, yet have virtually no musical acumen, take a deep dive into the vibes that really make us jive.
That's right, because if there's anything that unites us all, it's music. An audible sensation. To live without it is simply deprivation. So, we're here to hear and to share a little slice of a subject that gives us life.
Tick-tock, tick-tock. Are y'all ready to rock? Tell me, friends, what time is it on your clock?
It's music time! What's up?
Hi, what's up?
Welcome to It's Music Time. My name is Morgan Mitchell.
And I'm Tanner Grover, and this is what we do. And today we are doing it with Joseph Gallant. How do we do? How do we do?
You did all right. I'll give it like a 5.
Yeah, me too.
Out of 7.
Can we all say your last name 3 times together so we at least have a hope of getting it right?
Sure.
Okay, you start.
All right. Gallant.
Gallant.
All right, we got
Gallant.
it.
Kind of like
I realize that if the viewership is primarily Maine people, they're going to think that that's a farce, but and I get it, but
Yeah, I love it. Joseph Gallant.
We're
Okay.
really popular in Finland, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Second only to Estonia. Okay, so we're gonna do this again. Welcome, it's music time. I'm Morgan Mitchell.
I'm Tanner Grover, and this is what we do. And today we are doing it with
Joseph Gallant.
What's up?
What is up? Thank you for being here and for being patient with our problem pronouncing your last name. You're
It's okay.
wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
It's all right. You can say it a lot of different ways, so it just comes with it, I think. So
Gallant.
So, Mr. Gallant, you're coming to us today from where exactly?
I'm in Nashville right now.
Nashville, Tennessee, and you hail from
Bath/Wiscasset, Maine.
Bath/Wiscasset, Maine. A Maine legend. We are honored to have you with us. Joseph, we're going to get into you and all your endeavors in a minute. But before we do that, we like to start off every episode with a little game. And today we are going to play What Do You Know, Joe?
What do you know, Joe?
All right. So we have 5 trivia questions for you. And the answer is either going to be Joey Ramone or Joey Fatone. And you have to decide which fun fact this is all about. Is it Joey Ramone or Joey Fatone? So,
like
Joe,
this.
are you ready to play What Do You Know, Joe?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
All right. Question number 1. Which Joey stands at an impressive 6 feet 6 inches tall? Is it Joey Ramone or Joey Fatone?
Joey Ramone.
Yes!
It is, yeah.
Tanner, number
Correct.
2.
I didn't realize that he was that tall. I knew he was tall, but I didn't realize he was that tall. I'm like, it's definitely not Joey Fatone.
Big guy.
Yeah, no, Joey Ramone was he was a lanky dude, someone that you wouldn't hesitate to have on your pickup basketball team. Number 2, Joe. Which Joey is a vegetarian, embracing a meat-free lifestyle and advocating for animal rights throughout their career? Is it Joey Ramone or Joey Fatone?
Joey Ramone.
Correct!
Wow, 2 for 2.
Phenomenal. Number 3. Which Joey is obsessed with Superman and has an extensive collection of Superman memorabilia? Is it Joey Ramone or Joey Fatone?
Joey Fatone.
Correct! Amazing.
All right, number 4. Which Joey has not only openly admitted but is also very proud of their hair transplant results. Is it Joey Ramone or Joey Fatone?
Joey Fatone.
Correct. Wow.
Oh, okay, so 5.
He is a Bosley advocate.
Oh, these are good facts, Tanner. I don't know where you got this stuff.
The depth of the internet.
So here we go. This is the last question. So if you get this one right, you're 5 out of 5. If you get it wrong, you're 4 out of 5, which is still amazing. Number 5, which Joey considers legendary comedian Gilbert Gottfried?
Gilbert Gottfried, yeah.
Yep.
An honorary member of their band, Joey Ramone or Joey Fatone?
Joey Ramone.
Correct! Okay, you're the only one who's ever gotten 5 out of 5 right.
You based it. As only it's very gallant of you.
Gallantly slayed this.
I just got lucky.
I don't think so. I think that's skill. Well done. All right, Tanner.
All right, so one thing we also do with our guests, and you recently had a birthday.
I did.
Yeah, Joseph. So you were brought into this world on August 28th, 1986.
Mm-hmm.
Happen to know the #1 Billboard song on your birthday?
I don't.
Would you like to take a guess?
Pretending Eric Clapton.
Okay, all right. It was a valiant guess, but it actually was Higher Love by Steve Winwood. That is your birthday song.
Think about it.
It's right in the same
It's
kind of sound, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the wheelhouse. It's in the wheelhouse.
Phenomenal.
All right.
Wow,
So
recent
now,
birthday. Okay, so now we have an opportunity to just kind of like talk about all the brilliant stuff you're up to. I have some of your bio here. I can read some of that, and then afterwards, if you want to fill in any blanks or correct us or anything you want to tweak. But I'm just gonna jump into it. So
Okay.
Joseph is a born and raised Mainer, just like us. So this is the Maine team over here. Moved to Nashville in September 2018 after finding success in New England and along the East Coast in his first 18 months as a solo acoustic country singer. His debut single, Better Buzz, landed at country radio independently, getting 16 ads from Maine to California. So Joseph continued to build on that buzz, releasing a series of singles, including the 2022 track Ain't That Girl, which is my favorite of yours. Incredible. Also, the music video made me laugh so hard out loud. Loved it. Which found its way onto the CMT.com and earned Joseph a more than stellar reputation in the Nashville music scene. An energetic performer, Joseph has been both a headlining act and also performed in the support of some country elite, including Brett Eldridge, Lee Brice, Eli Young Band, Kip Moore, Jake Owen, and many more incredible artists. He also has a run of arena dates with the Parker McCollum and Bailey Zimmerman that featured a fire show at the MGM Music Hall in Fenway. Today, we are so stoked and honored to have you on the show with us. Joseph, welcome again to X Music Time. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, I'm happy you asked me. So, well, that covered some things. I have known Tanner for years through playing basketball, which was life for, I think, both of us for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to Maine, Farmington, and playing for a couple of seasons, and got into playing guitar a little bit at that point. But I realized, I guess, that's like athlete was all I was. It was just my intention was probably to get out of school, become a teacher of some sort, and then continue to coach. And that shifted a little bit when I got out of school. And I just wanted to do something that was not an athletic endeavor. So I was like, I'm going to learn how to play guitar. I'm going to write a couple songs. I just wanted a CD, just one. I didn't want to sell them. I didn't want to play shows. it was moreover like me picturing like, all right, if I have a little girl someday or like something like that, like I want to be like, you can do stuff. Like we have a lot of access to things if you just do it. So, but then there was like a local band in Portland called Marion Grace that asked me to play a show with them. So I said, all right, I'll do it. And from there, I just became kind of part of that community. And had Portland not been so welcoming to me at that time, the likelihood of me being in Nashville doing what I do now is very small. So being there and being with mostly Maine people at that time was like a very fostering place to be for me. So
That's really, really interesting that you talk about the Portland music scene, because we had one of our guests, our very first guest actually, was a guy named Jonah Bruce, who plays with Hello Newman, which is a local Maine staple.
Yeah.
And he talked
I know
about,
those guys.
he talked about how welcoming that scene was to him at a young age. And I think you're about the same age as one another. I'm not
Yeah, they've
sure.
been playing forever. They've been playing probably since around the time that I started, I would guess. Yeah.
Sure. So, like, just to hear that from another Mainer who had that similar experience of being welcomed into the Portland music scene,
Totally.
I mean, it says a lot about where we're from, I think, and we work out for each other. So, Joseph, I mean, I'm curious because, like, as you alluded to, I mean, I knew you as a high school basketball star, and I think that, like, well, no, hey man, you were a solid point guard. You ran the ship and could get a bucket when called upon. But I just think, talent can transcend different genres. And being a country music star is one of the last things that I would have ever predicted that you would find yourself into. So, from UMF to the Portland music scene to finding your way to Nashville, just in your own words, like how did this happen? How did you kind of discover this country music talent that you have?
Well, I mean, I would say similar to basketball, it wasn't necessarily something that was easy for me. Like I really had to work. I still have a vocal coach. I was doing like goofy, like vocal exercises that are complete nonsense, but it helps me. It's like you're training your voice no different than you would your shoulders or something. So, but yeah, so I mean, I guess how did it happen? I've quit a couple of times, but no, like, so that first project that I did when I was fresh out of school was more of like a pop rock thing, leaning more into like a Jason Mraz feel of music. And through meeting friends, and a big inspiration of mine is the Mallet brothers, who I saw you had Luke on. Shout out Luke Mallet. Without me seeing those guys do what they did and it was so fun during that time too. We had a big group of friends that would get together in downtown Portland or wherever it was and just storm their shows and like be in the front row. It was such a fun thing. But the way that their early stuff was kind of like acoustic driven, just rock, it was really moving. And that was an intro for me into like, oh, this is possible. So there was kind of like the 5-minute mile for me a little bit, where I was like, oh, okay, like that's cool. So I started to experiment with that and dig deeper into just the country format. And I've never sounded anything like them, but I'm just saying, like, it just expanded me into that. So I had a band that was together for about 2 years, and we decided to part ways. The guitar player moved here and now plays with Tanya Tucker, which is really cool. He's from Auburn. There's a guy named Sam Burse who would be really good for you to have on here. So I was done for about 1.5 or 2 years. And then late 2016, I got a call from the Asylum, which is like, it was the Asylum, now Aura, to play a show with an artist named Granger Smith, who had just got a record deal in Nashville, but was already big in Texas. So debated taking the show or not, because I'm like, maybe this should just go to somebody who's really wanting to like do the thing. I was settled into a desk job and making some okay money for the first time in my life. But I took the show, played it, and then Granger spent some time with me after the show, and I was like, man, like I heard you got done, and like, what was this song about South Carolina? And he sat there and watched my whole set. And then from there, that Waterfront Concerts was the promoter. They're like, we got a really great review from the crowd and from their camp, so we might have some more stuff for you. Next thing you know, like I'm getting asked to play the Maine State Pier. So my original band, we're playing in front of 7 people, like 5 of which were family members, 2 were like people that, you know, just arrived. And then I'm going to play in front of 6,000 people by myself with an acoustic guitar with no hits, and it was like just a thing. But after that, I was just not scared of anything. You get through it. It probably wasn't very good. I don't know, but I got the itch for it after that, and that elevated my name a little bit and started to network, and it's kind of how it happened. And honestly, like, man, like I don't know if you're familiar with The Alchemist, the book, but I've got like a big print of it behind me. Yeah. And I read that story, and there's been so many people and things that have come into it when I've like tried to get out of it that redirect me to stay, like just being square. Yeah. Like a lot of people are like, oh man, it's just like hard work. I mean, that is true, but for me, it's timing on a lot of things and having good people and situations around me for sure.
Beautiful. And being open to the synchronicities and the different things leading you in different directions. And wow, that's powerful. I love The Alchemist. Such a good read. Right on.
That's crazy. It just sounds, Joe, even when you were younger and even up until right now, you embrace the community around you. You know, I think you just do such a good job of that. And, you know, in basketball, I always go back to this one quote of when you're trying to coach kids, we're born with 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth for a reason. And even though you use your mouth very, very well, you have always kept in mind that perspective of having 2 ears and 2 eyes and seeing and hearing and absorbing, you know, more information than you actually put out. And I feel like, you know, by embracing that, you've been able to create this career for yourself, which is unbelievable. And I just know that as a friend of yours, I'm also like, you know, very proud of what you've done. So,
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, congratulations, honestly.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
I'm just happy that we got you. The last time we played you, I got you.
You did.
We didn't always go that way, but the last time I was there, we got you.
So. That was a rough fourth quarter. I'm well aware.
I saw Owen years later in downtown Portland. I was like, oh, I hacked you on that last play. I knew it. That was all arm.
Yep. Well, you know, he had 2 arms. He should have hung on to the ball.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we love you, Owen.
Oh, man. All right. What do we think? Deep cut?
Yeah, let's get into the deep cut.
Okay, so part of this podcast is we always pick some kind of strange and unusual question to dive a little bit deeper into, called our deep cut section. And on this episode, we want to ask you a question about a song that you would probably choose one of many or the single one that you would have played at your own funeral. It's a little bit of like a darker question, but we're sort of headed from summer into fall into that more reflective space. And, you know, it is kind of a powerful thing to think about what legacy you might leave or how you want people to remember you. So you can take a second to think about it, or maybe it's, you know, right there for you. But what would a song or songs be that you would want to be played at your funeral?
What about Here for a Good Time, George Strait? I don't want people to be, you know.
There you go.
Just keep it lighthearted.
Sure. I love that.
Maybe it's a cop-out answer, but
not at all.
I've been to some of these ceremonies that are just so brutal with that music where I'm like, oh It's worse now.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but like,
I mean,
you
it's
know what I'm
your
saying.
funeral. You get to decide. I think that's a great song. What about you, Tanner?
Oh, I've got my own cop-out answer. And I've actually attempted to write about this through journaling and whatnot. Now, if I had to pick a song,
Yeah.
and I think I've mentioned it before on this podcast, that kind of embodies me. I'm a huge REM fan.
Yes.
And I would pick Perfect Circle by REM. I think, it's a song about friendship and, the circle of your life. That's how I interpret it anyways.
Yeah.
It may not be about that. If it's not, I don't know. But I when I think about my funeral, and this is what I've written about, number one, it wouldn't be a funeral at all. It's a funeral. Okay.
A funeral.
And there are rules. Okay. There
Very
are rules.
Tanner.
First of all, no one can wear black.
Okay.
You have to wear bright colors, no earth tones. We're going to liven it up. There might actually be a guest list. I might actually not allow certain folks into the funeral because I don't want it to be a bummer of a time.
Wow.
I want it to be this true celebration of life.
You're curating your funeral guest list. I love this for you.
I also don't want other people to speak. I think I'm going to be the only speaker. So I will have this pre-recorded message, and through AI technology, I will help pump up the jam so everyone can have a great time at the funeral.
Are we going to make a hologram of you? Could be like DJ Tanner?
It's going to be like Tupac, but better.
Tupac or better.
I hope we're both invited to the funeral. I'm going to be devastated if
You're
we're not.
You're on the list. You're
Okay,
both on the
good,
list.
Good.
As is every It's Music Time guest.
Okay, good.
Morgan, how about you?
Wow. Well, I don't think I even know how to follow that at all. Funeral. I feel like there needs to be some kind of like funnel, like slide that like brings people down into the meeting room, like a fun funnel slide. Anyway,
the funeral funnel.
The funeral funnel. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna stop right there. I think that, let's see, for me, a couple different sides show up. One is like something kind of like lovely and sweet. Like there's a song by Jacob Banks that I really love called Every Age, and it's just like very simple and kind of poignant about like life and death. And then there's also my favorite song ever, which is Do You Believe in Magic by the 11 Spoonfuls. And so I think I would want both of those energies present, but similar, like wear a crazy hat and bring some face paint and there'll be bubbles and a funnel probably as well. But yeah,
I feel
it's
like
a hard question.
It is, but I feel like all three of us basically want the attendees to have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing.
Truly.
It sounds like an event that would be held at like Bentley's Saloon or something like that. Like all of us together. It's like, if you really think about it, like because I'm picturing like a McDonald's play place.
Yeah.
And the slide.
Please, like, let's go.
And then we got DJ Tanner rapping with Juvenile and
totally. Totally.
Well, he's still alive, but you know.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, he's coming to Portland, I believe, actually. And
we should go.
We should. I'm down. Yep. We'll pitch this idea to him.
I feel like there'll be like flyers around town. Come to Tanner's funeral.
Yeah, why wait? Let's just do it now.
Oh my God. All right, well, something to look forward to, you guys. I do
truly.
I do like this. I do like this. Great answers. All right.
We do want to move on to our.
We don't want to move on, but we have to.
We don't really have to. Well, one thing before we do, Joe, I forgot to just give the opportunity to talk about maybe any new projects that you have on the horizon. Yes. You've released a series of really popular singles. Like, what's next for Joseph Gallant?
So that's a great question. So we're back. I'm back in the studio tomorrow morning. I'm re-recording, excuse me, an old song called "But I Don't." It's the first song that I wrote when I moved to town. I recorded it, put it out back in 2019, and there's a different version of it that I've had that just sort of evolved as I've played. So we're gonna do a new version of that one, and then I've got a slew of other songs that I think is going to complete an EP project, which has started with my last 2 songs, and it's a story that's a succession of like meeting somebody and then situationship, and then this next song, but I don't, is like a Can I Flip the Bird on Here? It's kind of like one of these songs, and then there'll be like a resolution to like the 4th kind of chapter in that story.
Cool.
Right,
so
cool.
But I just got back from a week in Texas, which was a lot of fun, and we wrote a bunch of songs down there with some buddies. And with all this stuff, it's like you can make plans and stick to them for sure, but then like this week in Texas was sort of like a last minute thing. There's a song that it's maybe the most excited that I've been about a song that I've written like immediately.
Woo.
So that can like alter plans very quickly, because you're like, oh, well, cool. Like I've got this other thing that I'm really excited about now.
Sure.
And then go from there. So it's a little bit cowboy. Like sometimes I don't have a lot of strategy with these things. I just think it in my head and I'm like, all right, we're just going to kind of figure it out as we go. And
sure.
Sometimes it works out, and sometimes it's like, oh, maybe I could have planned that better. But
right. Well, it's really
you learn as you go.
It speaks to the creative process, which is so like part strategy, part magic, part wing it, part find it out as you go. I mean, it really is like creativity is such a mix of those qualities. It's like part structure, but then there's got to be enough fluidity in there for you to respond to what is coming through you as the vessel of inspiration and as the vessel of music. So
For sure.
I don't know. I think it's beautiful. That's really exciting.
Dude, I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Man.
Yeah, redoing the song, Joseph's version. Yeah, I love it.
Tanner's version.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
Oh my God.
So we're excited about your EP. I'm looking forward to it. When you have a title for it or whatever, let us know. We want to try to plug that and plug all your projects. But before we do that, we want to get to our Mix It Up playlist for the episode. So for every episode we put out a playlist that you can go on Spotify and click on the description. It will redirect you to that, and it will give you a nice mix of songs that you can enjoy on your drive home for work or from the bar or wherever you're coming from church, which is a judgment-free zone. Come from wherever you come from. So we're just going to talk about one of our submissions. Joe, what song do you want to talk about that you submitted to the playlist?
Let's talk about, excuse me, I Drive Your Truck, Lee Brice.
Right on.
Okay.
So that song, I've played a number of shows with Lee. He's a really cool dude. It's awesome. So I'm like biased to his music, but I think he's incredible because he's built a career singing ballads and not like party bangers, which is like the way that a lot of people have built, country guys build their career. But Lee is all ballads. It's hard to do. But that song in particular, I love the story of it. So one of the songwriters on I Drive Your Truck was listening to NPR, driving to the right in the morning, and there was a soldier that was killed overseas. His father was being interviewed on NPR, and they said, how do you deal with the loss of your son? And his response was, well, I drive his truck.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
She hears it and writes, there's a documentary about it. I'll text it to you, Tanner.
Wow.
But it's an incredible story. And like for that to be such a big song and have so much depth to it, but also be a massive commercial success is a pretty rare thing.
Stunning.
And Lee just kills the vocal on it. I will always love that song. It will never get old for me.
Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. What about you, Tanner?
Mine is not as deep as that, I don't believe, but that is incredible. I am going to highlight a song by an artist that I recently discovered called Liam Malcolm, and I believe it's from the UK. And the name of the song is Riley. And they have I believe it's their first proper album out, and I think the title of it is like learning how to talk to you, or
Talking to people is easy.
Talking to people is easy.
Something like that.
Something like that. I'm not really sure. But I would call it like pop rock. And this song in particular, I would actually go so far as to call it Gen Z yacht rock. And I feel for some reason, so I turned 40 this past year, Joe. I got a couple of years on you. And all of a sudden, I feel like I'm in my yacht rock era, where I'm drawn to Hall & Oates, Duran Duran, and anything of that nature, where I feel like I'm just enjoying life on a boat. And that's how I feel about this song. And I think the dude is probably in his early 20s. He might be 21, 22, but a very talented performer. And I really enjoy it. So check out Riley by Liam Malcolm. Morgan, how about you?
Yacht rock era for Tan Man. I'm so into that. Oh my god. Okay, so I was gonna say one, and then I think I'm gonna say another, which is Luke Combs by Tanner Adele. Didn't know much about Tanner's music. Tanner is a female singer-songwriter. Really beautiful voice and presence. And I just, was kind of exploring some country genre music, and was really struck by her voice and her talent. So anyway, I added that one called Luke.
She's really great.
Tanner Adele. Yeah. All right. Well,
she is way more attractive than me, by the way.
Every Tanner has their gifts, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. It gives me something to aspire towards.
No, the Tanners are all pretty magnificent.
Morgan, do you want to talk about Ain't That Girl?
So I would love to talk about Ain't That Girl, because as I was listening to some of your music, I went on your website, I looked at some of the the music videos that you had created. Lovely stuff, beautiful. Like, your voice is stunning. Like you could just listen to it all day. Like, it's easy listening, but there's depth to the lyrics and stuff. And so I was like kind of in that zone. And then I clicked on Ain't That Girl, and I was like, okay, like, I'm getting the scene. Like, we're in, maybe a small town, and there's like some dreamy light in the background, and there's this like girl kind of walking from behind with blonde hair, and I'm like, okay, it's probably a love song. They're going to the park and chasing sunsets, and like, this is sweet, but like I've heard this story a lot before, and I was like, but I'm here for it. Like, love with the voice, like, great song. And then all of a sudden I was like, he's talking about the dog. When you switch it, the narrative is brilliant. The way the video builds is perfect. I laughed out loud. Also, I love dogs, and I used to have a golden retriever. And like, just you're talking about the brown eyes and the blonde hair and the, windows down in the truck and going to the park. And like, I just got it. I got it immediately. It made me laugh out loud. You just like really kind of gently brought us into your narrative in a way that was like hilarious, and also just like super nostalgic of like, yeah, I get that. Like, I do. So anyway, I just thought it was brilliant. This Ain't That Girl. It's a fabulous song to listen to, but just the story will just put a big old smile on your face. There's no escaping that.
It's good that because that's that we were aiming for that. I'm like, let's make this as generic of a love song as we can until the hook line. We need it. The windows must be down. There must be hair.
There's a truck. There must be park.
Yeah, we're making it as generic as possible. What's funny is I'm petty, and that is a real thing. But the girl's dog was a black lab, not a golden retriever.
Okay.
And the way that started is one of my co-writers. We wrote that in 2020, and I think I put it out in 2022. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes songs sit for a little while, but the way it started was they're like you still talk to so and so, and I was like, no, but I miss her dog. And they're like, let's write that song. And the way it started when we were riffing on it was like, you know, I miss the way that you'd behave when I'd feed you under the table and like all kinds of things. And I'm like, I can't sing this song. I was like, Wheeler Walker Jr. can sing this song, or Weird Al can sing this song. I can't sing this song. So we dialed it back in. But we had a lot of fun with that one.
Oh God, it was brilliant. So. And the video is so beautifully shot too. Like everything, it was just really lovely. And I have to say, you know, golden retrievers are lovely, but I have a very special place in my heart for labs. And so, like, of course you miss that dog. They're pure love. Like they're love. Like, I don't know what it is about Labradors, but they just are the most sweet beings. I could go on and on. I'm not going to.
We had a great day. Like, so Randy Schaefer is the guy's name that shot any music videos that you've seen of mine. Good buddy of mine. But he's like, what's your idea for this? I'm like, I literally just want to throw a ball in a park.
Yeah.
So it's the girl in the video is my producer's wife's friend, and that's her dog.
Oh
so like it all worked out. I'm like, we got to put her in the video. She's like, I'm gonna be in the video. I'm like, just walk, we'll be fine.
Yeah, we
just put her in there.
We get her hair in the breeze. That's all we need. Perfect. No, it's so brilliant. I loved it. It made me smile so wide. Awesome.
Right on.
What else, Tanner? Time to plug the socials.
I think it's time to plug the socials.
Find out where people can find you, where you like to be, connected with online.
I'm anywhere you are on the internet. Just probably don't Facebook message me, like literally anywhere else at Joseph Gallant Music.
Joseph Gallant Music.
Joseph Gallant Music.
Awesome. .com, on YouTube, on Instagram, and Facebook.
And right TikTok. And Twitter.
And TikTok and Twitter.
Wow, you're on TikTok.
Rock and roll.
I'm not there yet, Joseph.
It's a party.
Yeah, I heard it's like Vine, but more complicated. Do you remember Vine?
Yeah, of course I do. I miss Vine.
Yeah, don't we all? When only those, 8-second bits of information. I think our attention span has doubled since 2013.
You might have to get on TikTok before your funeral, because I feel like there's like some real TikTokable content that's going to go down at that party.
All right, well, maybe we can make that happen.
It might happen.
I'm on Reels, which isn't Reels just like, TikTokers, TikTok for elder millennials. That's what that is.
Pretty much the same. It's a lot of media flashing by at a rapid speed, and it's hard to look away.
Boy, I'm really dating myself. That's all right. We are on. Where are we at, Morgan?
So we can be found on Spotify. It's Music Time Podcast. We're also on Instagram and YouTube. It's Music Time Podcast. So look us up so you can catch this interview and all the rest of the beautiful folks we've chatted with.
Yep. And don't touch that dial right now, because following our sign off, we're going to have an encore performance from Joseph performing, or this is the music video for Till You Love Yourself. So Joe, thank you for contributing that song to the podcast.
Man.
Copyright strikes, as I mentioned, just contact my lawyers. I have great lawyers.
I got it.
Yeah, but we are honored to have you. Thank you so much. It's been great catching up with you.
Thank you so much,
Joseph. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Morgan, and Tanner. We'll catch up, dude. You got my number now, so we'll talk.
All right.
Right on, great. And hopefully we'll see you in Maine at some point.
I'll be back.
Very good. Very good. Well, I'll just sign off here. Thank you, Joseph, again. Thank you, universe. Thank you, listeners. It's really especially fun to chat with a Mainer and somebody who is really following their heart and their passion. Super, super inspiring. We'd love to hear from you, listeners. Any feedback, quotes, comments, questions. Consider leaving a review, a like, that sort of thing. Share with friends. We're always looking to share the love. We appreciate your support. Until next time, stay cooler than cool. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye, Joseph.
You say that you never let people get too close. Words are said, get in your head, you're fading like a ghost. Is that burden getting heavy? I'll help you hold it if you let me. I don't care what it is, if wolves are at your door. All alone, nowhere to go, I've been there before. You say you're scared of what you don't know. You ain't gotta do it on your own. I'm gonna love you till you love yourself too. I'm gonna hold you till you see yourself the way that I do. If your nights become days, if your skies turn gray, I'll give you space. If you try to push me away, I won't go running when you go through hell. I'm gonna love you till you love yourself. One day you might wake up and find it ain't as bad as it seems. When you look in the mirror, you love what you see. Even on days when you have doubts, I promise I'll always be around. I'm gonna love you till you love yourself too. I'm gonna hold you till you see yourself the way that I do. If your nights become days, if your skies turn gray, I'll give you space. If you try to push me away, I won't go running when you go through hell. I'm gonna love you till you love yourself. I'm gonna love you till you love yourself too. I'm gonna hold you till you see yourself the way that I do. If your nights become days, if your skies turn gray, I'll give you space. If you try to push me away, I won't go running when you go through hell. I'm gonna love you till you love yourself.
The It's Music Time podcast is an independent passion project produced by Tanner Grover and Morgan Mitchell. The theme song for this podcast is by Ben Shepherd, the artist known as Yay Yay. Find him on Instagram at Yay Yay Music. Thanks for tuning in to the It's Music Time podcast. See you next time.